Okay. Hold on 1 second. We are starting up the stream right now. Okay. Post this right here. Okay, let me just, hey, what's up, 400? Just chat here, Hey everyone, how are you guys doing today? I hope everyone's having a great day today. Okay, can you guys hear me good? Does everything sound good with the stream? Okay, yeah, we didn't do Red Dead on Friday, so I promise we do it on Sunday. Hey Locke, Wasabi, Phoenix, Emily, Robots, Vanishmo, Jordan. Hey Alvin. Okay. I have a Red Dead Online video, Red Dead Redemption 1 video coming out for you guys on Tuesday. It's gonna be all the stranger missions. When's my video with Zomb? That is going to be probably later in the month. I already recorded the part with Zomb, but I still have to add stuff to my own video, because it's going to be a documentary in Watch Dogs. There we go. Good work, everyone. Yeah, I forgot that yesterday was daylight savings time. I actually completely forgot about that. Hello, Hunter. Blue Wolf, okay. Okay. Oh, hey Pro, for the PS5, does looking at the security cams at your nightclub still prevent you from getting kicked? For some reason, I keep getting kicked. Yes, it does. It does. But if you don't want to get kicked, all you would need to do now is yeah. So if you don't want to get kicked, all you need to do basically now is just run around in circles. That's all you pretty much need to do. Is just like put your controller down like an angle where you just run around in circles, and that's all you need to do. Okay. Okay, 1 second here. Go into your office and hover in the menu for the office and garage, and don't need rubber bands or anything. It doesn't kick you. Oh, okay. Hover in the menu for the office. Okay. Let's do this bounty here. Sup, Pro? You coming to DMZ? I want to get back into DMZ again. I've just been busy with a lot of stuff. But DMZ was my favorite Call of Duty mode of all time. It's just unfortunate that they abandoned it. I want to know who the hell at corporate thought it'd be a good idea to soon get rid of using that front counter registers for orders. I love my job, but seriously, now we gotta use the kiosk soon. Ooh, front computer registers? Do you mean they're replacing it with self checkouts? Is that what you mean? Thank you, Blinded Eagle, for the super chat. Well, DMZ, I mean, that's zombies. Good old classic DMZ where you're fighting people is always the best still. What is DMZ? Oh, it's a mode in Modern Warfare 2, in the new one, and it's actually it's a pretty fun mode. It's a mode basically you go into the map into Basra, you're trying to survive, get missions done, and then you extract before the radiation comes in. It's actually a pretty fun mode. What's up, bro? I saw you sent me a message on Steam. I apologize for missing completely. Didn't get notified. Was there something you wanted to say? No, it's no big deal, Bunny. I just wanted to send you a funny video. That was all. It wasn't even a big deal. Thank you for the super chat. What Ace Attorney client was your favorite? My favorite client Ace Attorney? Probably Edgeworth. Yeah. What's my loadout in DMZ? I usually run the Tempest, the Tempest Torrent, the Tempest Torrent rifle, and then and for secondaries, I usually do a lot of different things. Sometimes I'll run like an AK-74. I think it's called the Castov in the game. Sometimes I'll actually run a Desert Eagle as my secondary. I've actually killed a lot of people with the Desert Eagle. It's actually a pretty good handgun in Call of Duty. The reason I like the Desert Eagle is because it can shoot underwater. So all handguns can shoot underwater in the new Call of Duty games. So if you have a handgun, you can just shoot any handgun underwater. You cannot shoot any other, guns besides handguns underwater. So, it's actually a pretty effective thing. You would be surprised how many times you'll be surprised how many times, like, I'm getting chased by, like, a group of people in, like, DMZ, and I just jump in the water, and, like, those idiots, like, chase me underwater, and they don't even have a pistol, and the second they get close to me, I just shoot them underwater. You'd be surprised how many people actually fall for that. I work at Taco Bell, and soon we can't utilize the registers at the front counter to take orders. And if someone wants to use cash, they have to use the kiosk, but select pay with cash at counter. That sounds stupid. Yeah, I'll tell you something. This whole self-checkout thing is literally destroying, like, just retail, just in general. It's pissing off customers. It's annoying. If businesses want to have self-checkout machines, okay, fine, but they should always have, like, a human, at a cash register always there. Because, like, the thing is, though, is, like, what's gonna happen when, like, stores completely, like, get rid of, human cashiers? Because how are you gonna tell the 90-year-old woman that she has to use a self-checkout machine when she's never even used a computer in her life, and now you're gonna tell her that she has to use a self-checkout machine and scan all this stuff? So, like, I'm telling you that, like, there's plenty of people that don't know how to use those things, and they, uncomfortable with those things. They always prefer, dealing with just a human cashier. Thank you, Nikki, also. Hey, man, I plan on doing a stream collab with you, but, you're in Red Dead. It's okay, though. Don't beat yourself up. Perhaps next time. Okay, I mean, we could do it, next Sunday, then, if you want to do that. We could do that. Because it was just this Friday, I was just doing GTA because of the update, and so I pushed the Red Dead stream back to Sunday. Pro, what no big hugs for your old buddy. 6 months seems like only yesterday. Also, do the CIA still smuggle and sell cocaine today, or no? Thank you, Golden, for the for sponsoring my channel for half a year. Do the CIA still smuggle cocaine today, or no? Unknown. But I can tell you that the CIA does some really messed up things today. They're involved in they're involved in other countries' affairs. The CIA also supports dangerous rebel groups. So there's still, like, the CIA is not as bad as it used to be during the Cold War, but they still do some really horrible, bad things today. So, they've never really been an agency that has done mostly good. Throughout their history, the CIA has usually done mostly bad things. Would I rather be a cowboy or a knight? Oh, that's easy. Cowboy. I would never want to live in the medieval period. All good. We can do next Sunday. Keep up with Red Dead Redemption 2. Thank you, Nikki. And it's not like my store is personally understaffed. There's times where we're short, but we've got over 20 people in total. Yeah, and that's the thing is, though, has anybody else, like, has anybody here in chat, like, ever gone to, like, Walmart, like, 1 or 2 hours before they're closing? Because I'm not one of those scumbags that goes in, like, 20 minutes before they're closing to do my shopping, but sometimes I might show up, like, an hour or two before they're closing. And, I don't spend more than 20 minutes in the store. But anyways, it's like, you ever notice how, like, when you go to Walmart, and, like, you go there, like, 1 or 2 hours before they close the store, and then when you're, like, trying to check out, there's no human cashiers open, none, and there's nothing but just self-checkout machines, and, like, then there's, like, a bunch of people that are, like, in the background, and they're just sitting there, like, they're just standing there, like, it's just, they're not, they're there to help you with the self-checkout machines, but they're just, like, standing there, and I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't it be easier if you just, had a chair for them so they could sit down and, like, be at a cash register, instead of just, like, having them stand in, like, the corner, just, like, watching people in, like, the self-checkouts. It's, like, it's stupid, it's dumb. But that's, like, what I hated about going to Walmart, because it's, like, literally, like, when it's, like, an hour or two before closing, that it's, like, there's no cash registers open, and it's just, that happens. That's frustrating. It's annoying. And here's something I'll tell you guys that's really scary about, self-checkouts. This is something that people actually don't know about self-checkout machines, is, if you're using a self-checkout machine at a grocery store, right? Let's say that you're buying, like, $200 worth of groceries, right? Because when I go grocery shopping, I'm, like, one of those people that I really like to stock up. Like, I stock up like crazy. So, like, I go to the grocery store literally just once a month. That's literally what I do. So I don't usually go every 2 weeks. I usually go once a month. So I will basically get, like, a ton of stuff. So I'll basically get enough food for, like, a month. And what happens is, like, when you go to the self-checkout machine, like, a self-checkout isn't bad if you have, like, maybe 1 or 2 things. But if you got, like, $200 for groceries, and you're going to the self-checkout machine, that can be really frustrating. And what's scary about it, and this is what people don't know about it, is if you make one mistake on that self-checkout machine, you're scanning $200 for groceries, and you make one mistake, you don't scan one thing, and you put it in your bag, that's considered stealing now at that point. So even if it's completely unintentional, even if it's a complete accident, it's a complete mistake, that is considered stealing at that point, and the store can actually press charges on you. So that's what a lot of people don't know about the self-checkout. That's what's scary. So if you are being rung up by a cashier, right, and the cashier does not scan an item, and they just throw it in your bag, and you walk out of the store with that, you're not responsible for that. That's not your fault. The cashier made a mistake. But if you make a mistake on the on scanning an item at the self-checkout, and you walk out with it, that is considered theft, and the store could ban you, press charges. There's, like, a bunch of stuff that can happen, and that's what always scares me about self-checkout machines, is, like, when I'm using them, like, I'm always, like, triple checking to make sure I scanned everything is on there, all of it is there. And I'll tell you another thing about the self-checkout machines. The self-checkout machines have a massive flaw with them. There's a massive issue with them. Do you know what the massive issue with them is? Is that if you are buying the same item over and over and over again, you can't scan that item multiple times, because I've tried that. So, like, let's say that you're getting, like, let's just say, for the sake of it, beans, right? You're getting like cans of beans, and like let's say that you get like 10 cans of the same exact type of beans, right? When I used to work in retail, what I would always do is I would take that, if a customer brought up like 10 cans of the same thing, I would just basically take those that one can and just scan it 10 times, just like that. And that's quicker. It's quicker than scanning each one, because then you can scan all 10 and just shove all of them in bags. So that's actually faster. And so when I try to do that at self-checkouts, and so if I'm buying multiple of the same item, and I scan that same item, like let's say I'm buying 5 cans of the same of beans, right? It's the same beans, and I scan it 5 times, the same one, and then I take the other 4, and I put them in my bag, even though I've already scanned it, 5 times, the machine, because it has a camera on it, is going to read that you're stealing, and what it's going to do is it's going to call an associate over. And I've had that happen to me multiple times, where like I'm using the self-checkout machine and I'm buying like the same thing, and I just scan the same item like multiple times, and I just basically throw the ones that I've already scanned in the bag, and then like basically like the camera pops up and says like, putting something in bag it didn't pay for, whatever the notification was. And then I have an associate that comes up, and he has to basically unlock the machine, and it gets frustrating, it gets annoying, it's stupid. So that's stuff like that happen. But scan one, leave the rest in the cart. Yeah, but it's but the thing is though, even if you put them all in your bag, like I've done that, like after you that's what's so frustrating about the things. That's what's so annoying about it. So it's like if you have 5 of the same item and you scan the same item 5 times, that is literally that's the exact same thing as scanning each one individually, but the self-checkout machine doesn't know that and flags you as stealing when that's not stealing. You're paying for it. And here's the thing is, if you're ever using a self-checkout machine, right? And a store associate, and the thing gets locked, and a store associate basically comes up to you, and they say to you, oh, there's something wrong with the machine, let's go to a cash register. If they say that to you, that's basically them being suspicious of you stealing. That's basically what it is. There is nothing wrong with the machine. They just think you might be potentially stealing, and so they're taking you to the cash register. That is pretty much what that is. That is like a thing that stores basically do. It's a tactic that stores do. So that's it. And personally, I hate when garbage like that happens, because I hate being accused of something like that. I didn't do anything, and so that's one of the things I hate about self-checkout machines. I just hate the stress of it and just being scared that I'm constantly going to get accused of stealing something. In your opinion, which one is worse? Dutch left Arthur to die twice, or Dutch left John to die, and why? Dutch left Arthur to die twice. Are you talking about the one where he gets attacked by that corrupt general? Is that what you're talking about? And Dutch leaves him, and the Native American chief's son saves him. And then the second one is the one where what's the other one? The other one. The other one is at the end of the game, when Dutch leaves him again. Is that the one you're talking about? I think Dutch leaving Arthur twice, I think that's worse, personally. Thank you, Mr. Jesus. Oh, get this. Not only has GTA Online copied Saints Row, but so has Fortnite, because they brought in these wings that is right out of Saints Row 4, but they're pretty good. What? Like the Gat of the Hell wings? Thank you, Blinded Eagle. Exactly. Wonder how government allows these stupid things that can put someone in jail. I don't like self-checkouts. They want to get rid of humans. Look, here's the thing is I'm not, like I said, I'm not against self-checkouts, but if you're going to have self-checkouts, you should always have somebody manning the cash register. That's how it should be. You should never have it where just self-checkouts and nobody is, nobody is there. The only thing I know, the only time I know where like self-checkouts somewhat work, and I don't know if it truly works, I should test it one day. I know that Amazon is like a supermarket, and like Amazon, there's no cash register, there's no self-checkout. It's just that if you, basically, if you take the items and you put them in your bag, when you walk out, the items get scanned automatically. There's like a machine, you just walk through it, and it scans all the items that you have in your bag, and it just charges you whatever. And that's, I think, has anybody ever gone to the Amazon store before? Does that actually work? But that's like, that's what I've heard, is like, that's the only form of self-checkout that actually works. But that's, but I'm really curious to see how that, if that actually works. I've never been to one of those Amazon stores, but that's, What happened to German Lebensraum settlers? You're talking about the Nazi colonists? Is that what you're talking about? The when Hitler basically tried to like colonize parts of like Poland and Ukraine and Belarus, during World War II. Basically, all those people got deported. So after World War II, those people had gotten deported to either East or West Germany. Thank you, General's Alert, for the super chat. Yeah, I worked in that Amazon store. So how is it exactly when you walk out and you have the stuff in your bags, right? It charges your Amazon account. How does that work exactly? Yeah, Amazon has like a grocery store. It actually does have one. They aren't common. I don't think there's any Amazon grocery stores in the Midwest. Like where I live, I don't think there's any, Amazon grocery stores. But I know basically how it is correct me if I'm wrong. You basically just, the Amazon grocery store, you walk into it, you get whatever you need on the shelf, and then you put it in your bag and you walk out. There's no self-checkout, no checkout whatsoever, and the machine just scans whatever you have and you just get charged for that. DMZ, Modern Warfare 2, or Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare Zombies, Modern Warfare 3, DMZ. I like DMZ because it was always that crazy experience of bumping into another squad, personally. Do I prefer the Midwest to the East Coast? Yes, for the most part. I generally like the Midwest much more than the East Coast, more than New York, where I'm from originally. Traffic is better in the Midwest, way better. It's not, as congested as New York. Much lower taxes. It's so much more affordable. Properties are just so much more affordable. Groceries are more affordable, but with inflation, it's getting worse. Rent is way more affordable. There's only one thing that I think New York does a little bit better than the Midwest. And the only thing that I think New York does a little bit better is that the town that I live in the Midwest, it is very, very, very different at night than it is in the daytime. Very, very different. For example, in New York, at night, you will still see plenty of cars driving around, and you will still see, there's plenty of 24-hour stores that you can go to do grocery shopping. You can walk in, get a hot sandwich, get coffee, 4 o'clock in the morning. But, here in the Midwest, my town at night is basically pitch black at night. There is no 24-hour stores. There is no place really that you can go and get food at that hour. And there's barely any cars at that hour. It's like nobody's really up at that hour. People's sleeping schedules are very different here compared to New York. That's just what I'll say about it. But personally, I don't find it that bad because I've adjusted to it. So I just do all my stuff that I have. When I go to a store, I do all my stuff, in the daytime. So it's not that big of a deal. Is it possible to play solo and invite-only sessions in GTA Online? Also, will you try to red Ben Clemson bounty again tonight with a posse? Yes, Bunny. We will do the bounty. Is it okay with you if I do it in an hour? Because I would usually do those bounties at near the end. Is that okay with you? Because if I do the red Ben Clemson bounty, it'll put me back in a public session, I think, afterwards. So so we can do it. I promise you we'll do it, but we can do it in an hour if that's okay. Now, is it possible to play solo invite-only sessions in GTA Online? Yeah, you just start an invite-only session and you don't invite anybody, and you can just play solo there. Why does the judge say order, order, order in Ace Attorney? That's basically when, people are just interrupting constantly, and the judge is basically saying stop. That's when the judge is saying order, order, order in the court, it's basically saying stop, calm down, let me talk. That's basically what the judge is saying when he's saying order, order, order. Pro is a decorated war veteran who served in the Sheep Taco War. You can't say the same for other options. Vote for professional Sheep Taco Man in 2024. Thank you, man. Thank you, Own Titan. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah. In the Amazon store, cameras and weight track what you pick up, and you get charged when you leave. And how do you get charged exactly? Does it go to your Amazon account? How do you get charged for that exactly, Georgie? Favorite grocery store food? What you mean, like favorite food that I get at a grocery store? I'll tell you something. When I usually do my grocery shopping at Walmart, and the reason I do it is because there's like a Walmart 2 miles from my apartment, so that's usually where I go grocery shopping. And I'll tell you something. The other day I bought these turkey burgers. And the turkey burgers that I bought from Walmart, they were in the fresh section. Because usually I buy a ton of frozen stuff. Like I buy frozen chicken patties, frozen burgers, a frozen chicken. Just in general, just frozen, even frozen vegetables. Like I just buy way too much frozen stuff. But it's like, I bought these like fresh turkey, turkey burgers. And I cooked them. And they were actually way better than like the frozen burgers that I've eaten. Like they tasted way better, and I realized, wow, frozen really has an effect on how much the burger tastes like. I just realized that's like I can see why Gordon Ramsay gets pissed at all the frozen stuff. So yeah, I didn't realize that frozen was that much of a difference in taste, but it is noticeable. Whatever card you have linked to your Amazon account will be charged. Okay. That sounds like an interesting concept. Hey, Pro, hope you're doing good. Was Marshal Pétain, the leader of Vichy France, was a bad person or an evil person during World War II? Here, what I'll say about Pétain is before World War II happened. Before World War II happened, Pétain was a very popular man in France. He was considered a war hero because what happened was what's his name? There was a French general during Nivelle. Nivelle was the French general. Nivelle was a terrible general who, did not care about the lives of his men at all, and he basically promised that the war would end early during the Nivelle offensive. The Nivelle offensive was, France's worst disaster in World War I. It was a terrible offensive. The Germans were way more prepared for it than they thought. The French basically threw their entire forces at the Germans, and when the French tried to retreat, their own officers actually shot them. So it was horrible. And the Nivelle offensive had caused so many casualties that the French army went into mutiny. There were so many French soldiers that died in that they started rebelling. They didn't want to basically charge during that. What happened was Nivelle was removed, and then Pétain ended up taking power. Now, Pétain was a much better and competent general than Nivelle was, and he promised, no more suicidal charges. And to the soldiers, it seemed like he cared more about their lives than Nivelle did. So Pétain was a popular, general amongst the French soldiers in World War I. And so he was considered, a war hero in World War I, and he was a pretty popular figure. But then when World War II came about, in World War II, the Nazis basically put him in power because in Vichy France, because he was a popular French general. But the thing about that is he basically discredited himself, and all the good things that Pétain did beforehand, he pretty much had discredited himself because he was collaborating with a foreign enemy that had invaded and killed his people. And so Pétain might have done good things earlier in his life, but pretty much it was all ruined. He pretty much, destroyed his own reputation when he decided to basically collaborate with Nazi Germany. And it showed that he was more of an opportunist. He was more of somebody that wanted, power for himself. Because if Pétain was really cared about France, he would have refused to collaborate with Nazi Germany. He would not have collaborated with them if he truly loved France. So that's what I'll say about it. Is Pétain an evil man? I would say yeah. I would say he did. He might have done some good things earlier in his life. He might have during World War I, he might have been a good general. He might have treated his soldiers with more respect. But during World War II, he was a traitor. That's pretty much what he was. He was a traitor. He betrayed France. he sold his country out to the Nazis. So that's and here's the thing about Pétain. The only reason that Pétain was not executed after World War II, because a lot of the French collaborators were actually executed by Charles de Gaulle after World War II. The reason that Pétain was actually never executed wasn't because he was forgiven. It was because he was basically so old that he was pretty much going to die in a few years. That is why he wasn't executed for what he did. I think he died in prison anyways, but that's that's what I'll say about Pétain. So to answer the question, it was I know it was a long answer that I gave, but is Pétain an evil or bad man? I would say evil, because I would say no good man betrays their country and sells their country out to a foreign invader. Oh, Jimmy DeSanta, yo, P-Dog. Thank you for the super chat, Jimmy. The thing about it is, the only time you see Jimmy in the new DLCs, you see him when he's in front of the burger shot, that's it. But that part in the trailer where he was, like, getting chased by the cops, that never happened. I don't play Red Dead Redemption 2, but how does the police work? Oh, thank you, Nikki. The police are basically lawmen. You get a bounty, and the bounty actually stays with you. So one level just disappears, the bounty stays with you, and so they might come back after you, and it might pop up later on. I have recently rewatched your GTA 4 playthrough and lore videos. I like all of your commentary in those videos. Also, GTA 4 is my most favorite GTA. It is mine too, 9. And you'll be very happy to know that I'm working on another GTA lore video right now at this moment. You think Dutch can be Billy's ancestor from the Lost and Damned? Nah, I don't think so. I think that Dutch may have been based a little bit on Billy Gray. Because both of them basically caused the downfall of their gangs, but I don't think they're related at all. And Vincent made a good point that they deal drugs in a place across from the station. Wait, what, bro, Jackson? Really what? Wait, really what? I'm confused. But yeah, I never thought about that. That Vincent made a good point. I completely forgot about that. That burger shot where the guy deals drugs is right across the street from a police station. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Do you think John is Jack's real father? Yes. And here's what I'll tell you about John, the whole John and Jack conspiracy. Look, even if they didn't have DNA tests and all that stuff back then, so it would have been very hard to tell if Jack was, John was Jack's biological father. However, though, what I will say, though, is that regardless of who Jack's biological father is, John is Jack's real father. That's the thing about that. Because nobody in that gang has been a real father to Jack except John. That's the thing about that. Nobody has been a real father to him. So it doesn't matter who Jack's biological father is. What matters is that John is his real father. That's what matters. It doesn't really, a father is not necessarily who's, related to you, but who raises you. That's what it is. Yo, P-Dog, can we get a Warriors playthrough, Church? I will do a playthrough of the Warriors, but I have to watch your, what is it? I have to watch the movie first. What's your view on the game Enlisted? I had a bit of fun with Enlisted. I like Enlisted, it's a fun game. I think Enlisted has so many classes it gets a bit confusing, but I think it's a fun game. Yeah, it is at Aternus. Okay. I don't think the new update is that bad. I think it's okay. Marshal Pétain was confined in the hospital. Also, he didn't serve in prison. Well, he should have been put in prison. You know, he was a traitor. Like I said, the lesson with Pétain is that no matter no matter how many good things a person does in their life, if they collaborate with, you know, a murderous, you know, regime later on in their lives, you know, they're a horrible person. So, you know, Pétain was a traitor. And, you know, he betrayed his people, he betrayed his country, he sold his country out to foreign invaders.
You let yourself get taken alive? Big mistake.
The worst suck-up GTA character, Brian or Ray? Brian. Brian's much worse than Ray. You know, Brian sucks up to, yeah, Brian sucks up to Billy. Like 10 times more than Ray does to Pegorino. Imagine if Nico, Luis, and Johnny became friends. Yeah, but I can't imagine that would really happen after that deal with Johnny and Nico. And also, you gotta remember, Nico kidnapped Gracie, which Luis hates, but he hates that he had to deal with that situation. Some things in Sniper Elite 5 I wish they still added in was the SS soldiers to infantry types and more varied Jaeger types in terms of clothing and ranking. Thank you for the super chat, Lyndon. I mean, they did have the they did have the officers. You know, the thing is, though, is a lot of World War II games, surprisingly, a lot of World War II games do not have the SS as enemies in them. Most of the time when you're playing World War II games, you're fighting the Wehrmacht, which is the standard, you know, German army, but you're not fighting the SS in a lot of World War II games. And I always found that kind of weird, because the SS are literally the worst of the Nazi regime. They're you know, the most evil. So I thought that it's kind of weird that there's so many World War II games where you don't actually fight them in. But the World War II games where the SS are is, you know, there's SS officers in Sniper Elite 5. They are in some of the Medal of Honor games. They're in War Dogs. No, not War Dogs, War Mongrels, which I played recently. They're in that game. But their most noticeable, their most common appearance was in Call of Duty World at War. In Call of Duty World at War, in the very final mission when you're taking the Reichstag, that is pretty much all SS soldiers that you're fighting in there. Oh, and the Wolfenstein games, how could I forget that too, yeah. What significant event led to the United States entering World War II? Pearl Harbor. Have I tried Hell Let Loose? Yes, I have. Hell Let Loose is one of the best World War II games I've ever played. I nearly have a platinum in that game. Oh, the Saboteur. How could I forget the Saboteur? I actually have a video on that coming out on Monday on that game. Hey, pro hydration check. Yeah. Should probably get a glass of water. Try Commando Strike Force, good World War II game. I'll look into it. Thank you, Michael. No, I've never played Insurgency. Well, where is he, Chase?
The sheriff has been asking for this one personally.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robbie. Let me look.
Here.
Hey, Pro, a bit of a weird question, but would you rather serve 10 years in USA prison or live in North Korea for a year? Glad to be a member. That's a very hard question to answer, but it's kind of a weird one because do I get to leave North Korea after a year? I'll tell you something. If you're telling me, okay, would I rather live a year in North Korea or live in 10 years in an American prison? It depends. If I'm living in, like, the capital city of North Korea, Pyongyang, I'd rather live in North Korea for a year than be 10 years in an American prison. But if I'm living in the North Korean countryside, I'd rather live in an American prison for 10 years and live in the North Korean countryside. Because the people in Pyongyang don't have it as bad as the people in the countryside. The people in the countryside are absolutely starving and dying. The people in the city, if you notice, the people in in the North Korea city, they're more well dressed. They have nicer homes. They have nicer stores. And the reason for that is because that city is a city made for the elites. That's pretty much what Pyongyang is. Pyongyang is a city that you have to have special permission to live there from the government. So you have to have some kind of special position to live there. So if you're like a worker from, like, the countryside, like, let's say that you're like some factory worker that, like, lives in some small town in North Korea, and you say, I want to go live in Pyongyang, you can't. Like, you need to have special permission from the government to be able to do something like that. So only the elites really live in Pyongyang. That's the thing about that, is that's why only tourists are really allowed to go to Pyongyang. Think about that. Like, why don't they allow tourists to go to the countryside? Because the countryside is really where people are suffering the most. That's, like, where they have the most amount of problems, the countryside. I've seen a few pictures and a few videos of what the North Korean countryside looks like. Like, they have roads that are completely falling apart. They have bridges that aren't even, like, built. They are literally, it's also, they have no modern farming equipment. They don't have, like, modern tractors. They don't have, they're, like, literally pushing carts in, like, the fields. It's like, it's literally like, it's like a farm that's, like, from 200 years ago. It's horrible. Pro, do I know the story of the rooftop Koreans? Yes, I know about that. That is like those Korean business owners that basically they went up on rooftops with like AR-15s during the Los Angeles riots in the 90s. I know about that. Hey Pro, can I join on GTA streams? I just got a PS5. Sure, Daybot. But Daybot, just tell me what your PSN is, and I can add you after the stream, and we can play next time. What I'm trying to say for Sniper Elite 5s, the Jaegers did also have their own ranked uniforms instead of just fatigues with rank patches on them. Also, SS officers would have some SS soldiers with them, maybe. I guess. I guess they would. The thing about that is the SS officers and the Fallschirmjägers are actually the toughest enemies in Sniper Elite 5 to melee. Because in Sniper Elite 5, you actually cannot melee the Fallschirmjägers or the SS officers from the front. If you try to melee them from the front, they will actually knock you down. So if you try to melee them, it'll fail. The only time a melee will work on the Fallschirmjägers or the SS officers from the front is if you have a bayonet. If you have a bayonet, you'll be able to kill them, but if you don't, the only way to melee kill them is from the back. You will not be able to melee kill them from the front. But do you remember, Lendon, do you remember in Sniper Elite 4, they had, like, that really, like, elite unit of Fallschirmjägers called the Valkyrie Squad that wore all black? Like, those elite paratroopers. Like, I don't think they came back in Sniper Elite 5. But they were, those guys were the toughest enemies in Sniper Elite 4. Hey, Pro, do you think the U.S. could go into another civil war within the decade? It's highly unlikely. I don't think something like that would happen. Okay, let me go here. Let let's go back to the sit town here. Have you shopped at Price Chopper? What's that? It would either be ADX Florence or North K Country. The ADX the prison? Oh, well, I don't know then. Watch those wrist rockets. That's from Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yep. Just for quick, stopping by and good evening, Pro, and everyone. A few questions. Who contracted Drew to forge evidence to Phoenix and tip Clavier off? I have no idea, Patrick. I haven't gotten that far yet. But I'm going to have another part of Ace Attorney out tomorrow. There's not going to be, like, 3 days in between. I'm going to have another part of it out tomorrow. So it's, yeah. Where did your obsession from history come from? I don't think that I don't think I really have an obsession with history. I just like reading history. That's what I'll say about it. I'm just always fascinated by, like, events that happened in the past and, how it shaped our world today. Oh, and Daybot, I got your PSN. Thank you, Mr. Waifu. Thank you for the super chat. I can only choose one. Kane or Lynch or Michael and Trevor. I would say probably Kane and Lynch because I grew up with Kane and Lynch. Like, Kane and Lynch was, like, a huge part of my childhood. I'm more familiar with those characters than I am with Michael and Trevor, honestly. I'm not sure, Lendon. They were in the DLCs in Sniper Elite 4. Thank you, Del bro. Thank you for sponsoring my channel. I'm gonna go to my, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my, oh, storm's coming in. I'm gonna go to, my Moonshine Shack. Do I trust Lynch or Trevor more? Trevor, probably. Trevor would not betray you. Gilly Master is a pretty good speed run for Cluckenbell. I'm gonna attempt my own speed run, thing on that one, too. Why do some people hate on Lucia for being the first female GTA protagonist? There is a docu-series called American Gangster Trap Queens about women who became queen pins. No different than Tommy Vercetti. Look, what I'll tell you about those people is those people are just being stupid. I have absolutely no problem with playing as a female character. I actually think that that's unique. I think that it's different. Because we've never played, now that I think about it, like, all the crime games that I've played I can't think of, like, one where you played as, like, a female gangster, so I do think it's interesting, I think it's unique, and I'm excited to see it, and there's nothing political about playing as a female character. I mean, there's plenty of female criminals out there, so I don't know what, yeah. I don't know what people are talking about, Chrysler, why people are getting pissed about that. They're worried about it being woke, thanks Hollywood. I don't think there's anything woke whatsoever about GTA 6. There's nothing woke to me. Like, having a female character is not woke at all. That is not, that isn't. There is nothing wrong with having a female character in a game, and it's like, what I'll tell you about it is there's only one time that I can think of where having a female character in a video game was political. Only one time that I can think of. And the only one time that I can think of was in when you're doing historical games. When you're doing a historical game and you're playing as, like, a female soldier, like, for example, like during World War II. That doesn't really make much sense, because Battlefield 5 did that. Battlefield 5 did it where there was, like, female soldiers in, like, the German army, the British army, the American army, the Japanese army. That makes no sense. That did not happen. There was only there was only two armies in World War II that had, female soldiers, and that was Poland. Poland has a few female squads, in 1939, and then also the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was like the largest one that had, the Soviet Union had like over 1 million, female like frontline soldiers. So the Soviet Union had plenty of female soldiers, and Poland had a few divisions. But like Germany, Japan, America, Britain, like having like female soldiers, that makes no sense. That did not happen. That's historically inaccurate. So so there's no issue of playing as a female character in a game. I have no problem with Lucia. I think that it's cool. The only time that you can accuse a game of being politically motivated for having female characters is if it's a historical game. If it's like a historical game and it's violating some parts of history. Because if the developer wants to say that Battlefield 5 is not a realistic game, then okay, go for it. But the problem is the developer was saying that Battlefield 5 is like their most historically authentic, World War II game yet. Which, like, no, that makes no sense. And then you have like all these crazy prototype weapons that like never, served in World War II. And then what happens is when fans were complaining about it, the developer was basically calling the fans sexist and was, basically saying that, we're on the right side of history. Like the developer said that about the fans. He said, we're on the right side of history, and like the fans that are complaining about this are just being sexist. It's like, no, it has nothing to do with sexism. It's like there was no, women in the British and the American army during World War II. I mean, there was women in those armies, but those women served as like, nurses. They served maybe driving like trucks around, like, stuff like that. The Queen of Britain, I know she was like a truck driver in World War II. But the point is that they didn't have like, female soldiers in those armies back then. And there's nothing sexist about saying that, but the developer was saying that. And so what about the Resistance? Well, that's what I was actually getting at next. So if they wanted to add female soldiers to Battlefield 5, they could have done it easily. You know how they could have done it? Add the Soviet Union as a faction. If you add the Soviet Union as a faction, you can create like a custom female soldier. If you like a custom female Soviet soldier, if they added the Soviets as a faction. And also if they added resistance characters, if they added like playable French resistance characters, for example, you could create like a female French resistance character. That would be historically accurate. That would be fine, because the resistance movements across Europe, from Poland to France to the Netherlands, had plenty of female resistance members. So if you wanted to create female playable characters in these games, it's make them resistance characters and make them like Soviet soldiers. But when you're going to be adding female soldiers to the British army and the American army, that just makes no sense. And that's just that. Another female bought a T-34 tank because her husband died. Yes, I know about that story. That was about that female. It was about that female tank crew in the Soviet Union. There was also a lot of female pilots, fighter pilots, in the Soviet Union during World War II. So the thing is, though, don't you think that don't you think the developer could have done something like that instead? Like, they could have done a story on that, on the female tank battalion in World War II, the Soviet female tank battalion, or maybe they could have done a story about maybe female fighter pilots in the Soviet Union, or maybe they could have done a female sniper storyline. They could have done something like that. That would have been fine. But it's the fact that when they did in Battlefield 5, what they did with that, and then they tried to call their fans sexist, that's what turned a lot of people off from the game. It was just not it just wasn't good. It pissed a lot of people off. So, to answer your question, Chrysler, I know I went off for a lot of stuff, is, I'm excited to play as Lucia. I think that Lucia is fine, and I think the people complaining about Lucia, I think they're a bunch of idiots. There's nothing wrong with playing as a female character in, a fictional game. And in real life, there's plenty of female gangsters. But the only point that I was making to you, Chrysler, is the only time it's political when you play as a female character in a game is if it's a historical game. If it's something history related, and you're adding a female character into frontline combat in the American army, that makes no sense. I think people are worried they will screw up the writing with Lucia and make her marry a what? You can thank Anita Sarkeesian for this mess. I don't think there's going to be anything I trust Rockstar. I have my issues with Rockstar, but I don't think they're going to do something stupid like Saints Row. Like the Saints Row reboot, I don't think they're going to do something that stupid. So that's It's because they don't want to have controversy with the world, in my opinion. Because remember, Rockstar Games had so many controversies, huh? Well, thank you, Nikki. There are also female Mexican members of the cartel. Yep, that's true. And I mean, Valeria, I thought was a pretty cool character in Modern Warfare 2. Valeria was my favorite antagonist. In the new Call of Duty series, she's my favorite antagonist in the new Modern Warfare games. So she was an interesting antagonist. The big scary cartel boss. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is there's I have no problem with playing as a female character. I think it's actually cool, and I think it'll be interesting seeing Lucia's perspective in GTA 6. Call of Duty Finest Hour, Tanya Pavlova, Soviet Sniper. I remember that story. Yes, I remember that too. And that's a cool one. Speaking of female snipers, there's an infamous female sniper that fought for Viet Cong in the Vietnam War. Not sure any game covered her, but I always thought she was interesting. Well, here's what I'll tell you about her, though, is the woman that you're thinking of is called the Apache. That was her nickname. That was about her. But the Apache was, an evil woman. She was a terrible, human being. She was an elite sniper in the Viet Cong, that is true. But she was a horrible person because what she would do is she would basically, capture American soldiers, and then what she would do is she would have them tied to trees, and she would basically impale them on the trees. So she would just hang them on trees while they were still alive, and just, put screws and stuff like that into their hands, their legs, just put them up on trees and just torture them. And she would basically use that to draw out other American soldiers. So like when that American soldier would scream tied up to that tree, she would basically use that as bait to trick other American soldiers and then shoot at them. She was the Apache was a really horrible, sadistic, sniper. She was a really, really bad person. The thing about her is what's his name? White Feather, the American sniper in the Vietnam War. He actually killed her. And when White Feather killed her, the American sniper killed the Viet Cong sniper. When he killed her, he said he shot her body like 5 or 6 times after he killed her because he wanted to make sure that she was dead. And he's never done that before. And White Feather even said that he's never enjoyed killing anybody, but he said that was the only time in his life he's enjoyed killing somebody because of just how horrible that person was. Like, the Apache was a horrible human being. Regardless of how you feel about the Vietnam War, whether you feel that the Vietnam War was justified or not, you can't do something like that. Like, taking prisoners, impaling them on trees, torturing them, and then using tortured prisoners to draw out other soldiers. Nobody can do that. That's inhumane and that's horrible, and she deserved to die. She was a horrible human being. What's your favorite Rambo film? Rambo 4. The Burma one was my favorite one. Bro, do you think that Lynch knocking Kane was the stupidest thing he done? Yeah. I would say that. I would say Lynch knocking out Kane is the stupidest thing he's done. The thing about this is I wonder what Kane would have done when Kane told Lynch, tell her to let her go. Trust me, Lynch. Like, I wonder what his plan would have been, what he would have done. I don't think that Kane would have betrayed Lynch in that moment. I think Kane was being sincere that he was trying to help Lynch. I didn't know she was that evil. Well, go on Google and type in the Apache Viet Cong sniper, and you'll see the horrible torture that she did to people. She was like I said, she was a horrible person. And the point that I'm getting at is it doesn't matter how you feel about the Vietnam War, whether you feel it was a stupid war or whether you feel it was a justified war. The point is that you cannot do something like that to prisoners of war. You cannot, torture them and use them as basically bait to draw out other soldiers. So she deserved to die. I have no sympathy for her. She was a horrible human being. The main reason I wanted Waffen SS Infantry to be in Sniper Elite 5 is because it's just an excuse to add in the STG 44 infantry enemy types more frequently. Thank you, Lendon. Well, Lendon, I'll tell you something. Later this year, I will be doing a playthrough of War Mongrels. It was that game that you saw me play in the exclusive stream. I'll do a story playthrough of that, and I think you'll actually like the story in that one. What do you think about Splinter Cell Conviction? It's a massive departure from the previous games, but it's still fun. Yeah, I like Conviction. I thought it was fun. I like the co-op a lot. The co-op I thought was the best part of Conviction. Are you making a video about what happened in Nico's village? Eventually, I'll make a video about Nico's past. That's what I'll make a video on. Wasn't there a dictator in South Vietnam who persecuted Buddhists and is a Roman Catholic? I don't remember that much. Yes. I'm trying to remember. I forget the guy's name. He ended up getting assassinated. But basically about it is North Vietnam was a communist dictatorship. South Vietnam was a Catholic dictatorship. That is pretty much what the difference between the two of them was. There were several. The Buddhists were heavily persecuted in South Vietnam, and several Buddhist monks. What they would do is they would actually go in front of government buildings in South Vietnam, and they would just set themselves on fire. What would happen if the Apache was brought before International Criminal Justice for her war crimes? Well, she would have been sentenced to life in prison. I guess there ain't no use. I'm gone. Probably gonna play some Red Dead Redemption 1 or 2 since I'll be beating John Marston this year. Wait, what do you mean, Hunter? Din DM? I think that was him, yeah. What is the cause of the Vietnam War? I would say that it's a combination of factors. It's a lot of things. It's I would say. Does he possibly help with viewers? Yes. I would say that the main cause of the Vietnam War, I would say, is French colonialism. That's probably what I would say is the main cause of it. And then afterwards, I would say it's Soviet and Chinese influence in Vietnam was a huge part of it as well too. Because the Soviets basically funded North Vietnam. So I would say the Soviets were a huge part of it also. The Americans were a part of it also. The Americans funded South Vietnam. So that's the thing about that is a lot of people don't talk about it, but the Soviet Union has an influence in starting the Vietnam War as well because of the fact that they funded North Vietnam and they supported North Vietnam. So I would say the Soviet Union has a part in the war as well. Thoughts on what's happening in Haiti? I heard that there's a state of emergency there. Yes, about that is Haiti essentially right now is a mafia, government, mafia state. That's what it is. I'm not trying to offend anybody from Haiti. I know I have viewers from Haiti, but basically that's what happened. The gangs have taken over the airports. I think the prime minister has fled the country. Correct me if I'm wrong. The American embassy is evacuating right now. And to tell you the truth, I've never seen something like that happen beforehand. Because there are a lot of countries out there where the mafia controls politicians. There's a lot of countries where the mafia controls politicians. It has influence on politicians. But I've never seen a country where the government is the mafia directly. And that's what happens is the gangs have basically become the new government in Haiti. But what I'm going to tell you guys is once the gangs actually, because the Haitian government has pretty much lost at this point, once the gangs fully take over Haiti, do you know what's going to happen? They're going to start killing each other. That's what's basically going to happen. You're going to have gang wars all over the place because one gang is going to say, no, we should rule Haiti. Another gang is going to say, no, we should rule Haiti. And they're all going to start killing each other. That's basically what's going to happen is you have all these criminals that are together, but then the second they kick out the Haitian government, they're going to start fighting each other. Like, they've ran into prisons, they've released thousands of criminals, but there's so many rival gangs, and they're all going to start basically, they're going to basically start killing each other. That's what it is. That's what's going to happen. But here's the thing is the reason that Haiti is such a poor country is for two reasons. There's two major reasons for that. The first reason is the French had basically bankrupted Haiti for hundreds of years, because Haiti used to be a slave colony of France. And what happened with Haiti as a slave colony is during the French Revolution, France actually abolished slavery, and a lot of Haitians actually supported the French Revolution. And the what happened is when Napoleon took power and became dictator of France and then later emperor, Napoleon brought back slavery, and it caused a rebellion in Haiti. And Haiti had a rebellion. Polish soldiers were actually sent there to put down the uprising, because a lot of Polish soldiers were in the French army at that time because they were fighting the Russians. And a lot of the Polish soldiers actually did not want to shoot at the Haitians because they saw themselves, they saw what the Haitians were going through, and they basically remembered what they went through in their country when, like, the Russians were, and the Germans and the Austrians were just conquering their country. And so they didn't want to, they went through the same horrible things. And so a lot of Polish soldiers ended up joining the Haitian side. And the Poles were really the only Europeans that were allowed to stay in Haiti afterwards. Everyone else was pretty much kicked out at that point. But the reason that Haiti became such a poor country is because what happened is when Napoleon was defeated, the new French king, I forget his name, he was the cousin of Louis. When he took power, he basically gave an ultimatum to Haiti, and he told the Haitian government, "We won't invade you if you pay us a massive tax every single year." And the thing is, what the Haitians did it. What here's the thing about France is, France was bankrupt at that point. They were bankrupt, and France, even if they wanted to, they could not conquer Haiti. Even if they wanted to, they had no money, they had no funds, they had no resources to conquer Haiti. But the Haitians didn't know that. And so the French basically scammed the Haitians into paying them billions of dollars when they didn't even know that the French didn't have the resources to invade them. So they could have just stopped paying, and the French wouldn't have invaded them. But like I said, the Haitians didn't know that. They were scared of the French invading, and so they were basically just paying off the French. And this totaled to hundreds of billions of dollars over the year, or like a century of these payments, like over 100 years of this money going to France for like billions and billions of dollars. It's like the biggest scam in human history what France did. They bankrupted Haiti basically, and that's the first reason that Haiti is so poor, is because of the French exploitation of Haiti. But the second reason that Haiti is so poor is because of the corruption. Haiti has actually some of the biggest corruption in the Caribbean. It has extremely corrupt politicians, so that is that's another problem that's there. So they need to crack down on the corruption, but it's like I really don't know what's going to happen with Haiti at this point. It's really sad. I know I have a viewer that's one of my viewers, Antonio. I know he's from Haiti. Antonio, are you here by any chance? Are you watching right now? I'm curious what he thinks if he's here, but it's just really sad what's going on. Let me see here. Has anyone wonder why one of the gangs in Cluckenbill Farm Raid aren't the existing gang like the Vagos or the Madroza cartel, but this new Maribante gang? No, the Maribante gang are a different gang. The Maribante Grande, they're based on MS-13 in GTA, but the gang is the Cluckenbill cartel. But here's the really complicated thing about Haiti. The reason the American the reason the America isn't really doing anything about Haiti is because Americans are generally scared that if we send any money to Haiti, any aid, that basically the corrupt politicians or the gangs are going to steal it. And if America intervenes militarily in Haiti, then that's going to be something that's going to last for years and years and years, and it's going to be a bloodbath. Like, because Americans are going to basically, if that would even happen, would be fighting like gangs door to door in close quarter combat, and there would just be so many civilian casualties, it would just be horrible. So, intervention is not a good thing, either. So it's, so it would, a lot of people will die if intervention. But gangs and mafias basically taking control of the country, so it's just really sad. So I really don't know what the solution is. There really isn't anything. anything. I mean, I really don't know what the solution would be, honestly. This game still looks beautiful. It does, Mythagoras. Thank you. And the thing about this is if America did intervene in Haiti, it would be called imperialist, because that always happens. Is when America intervenes in some countries, you know, like Iraq, you could definitely make the argument that it's imperialist. But when America like intervenes in other countries, sometimes to help, they're going to be called imperialist regardless. So like people will call America imperialist. So that's probably one of the reasons that Americans don't want to intervene, also for that specifically. But it's just horrible, and hopefully the people in Haiti can like get through it, and they can do something, and you know, they can, you know, get rid of these gangs and these corrupt politicians. But it's going to be a long road, and it's going to take you know, it's going to take a long time for that country to heal. But you know what I'll tell you guys about Haiti? I'll tell you guys something crazy about it. Do you know what country actually might intervene in Haiti? And it's actually a country that you might not expect to intervene. And the country that might intervene is actually Poland. And the reason for that is because in Haiti there's actually a town called Kazale, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this town in Haiti is actually a town, basically like a Polish community in Haiti. And those people are descended from the Polish soldiers that basically helped the Haitians win their freedom and independence 200 years ago. And the people in that town, recently, there was like schools that were set up where they've actually started teaching like the kids in that town Polish to like learn the language of their ancestors. And like a lot of Polish teachers actually do like virtual learning where they teach like the students there how to speak Polish. And so some of that town has adopted like Polish culture, Polish symbols, and I thought it was really cool. But the thing about that is, if that town gets threatened by like the mafias or the gangs, the Polish government might get really pissed about that if that actually happens. So there might be some kind of intervention on Poland's part because of that. Does he have a mute button? Well, if you want me to talk about something else, I can talk about something else. I don't know why. People were asking me about Haiti before, so that's why I just gave my answers on it. Can centipedes be more dangerous than spiders or snakes? I don't know. I can tell you that snakes are way more dangerous than spiders are. They're just way more dangerous. Because the thing about snakes is that snakes will, like, you could be in your garden and like a snake will slither up to you and bite you. But a spider isn't really going to do that. A spider isn't going to run up to you and bite you. It doesn't really do that. The only time like a spider will bite you, or even a tarantula will attack you, is if the tarantula feels threatened. But snakes are just so hostile that they, like, you could be far away from them and they'll just slither up to you and attack you. That's the thing about snakes. Now centipedes, I don't know about centipedes. Some centipedes I guess might be poisonous. I don't know. I don't know too much about that. So I can't answer that question fully, U20. Can Marabante Grande Gang appear in GTA 6? Definitely. The Marabante Grande Gang are based in MS-13. MS-13 are in California, they're in Florida, they're in New York, so they could definitely appear in GTA 6. Thank you, Patrick. There's a lot of female characters I like. The 90s Magic School Bus series is 8 students, 4 of which are girls. Dorothy, Anne, Keisha, Phoebe, and Wanda. Love them. Thank you, Mario. Yeah, and like I said, is nobody has a problem with female characters being in games. Like, the only time it was like a problem was like when it was like a historical game like Battlefield 5. That was when people got pissed off. Hey Pro, could you add me on PS5 or stream? You get the chance. It's Komu. I didn't want to spam in chat in case you didn't see. Hope you have a good one. I will add you after the stream later. Yeah. Would I play Supermarket Simulator? Is that an actual game? I'll look into that. In domestic disturbance, Pikmin did mention cameras in Danny's house. White likely got video evidence of what Leo did while in control of Danny's body. Yeah, that's kind of horrible that they basically expected something like that to happen. Thank you, London, for the super chat, and thank you, Mr. Nowhere. Who is worse, the governor or Gareth? The governor, I would say, is even worse. What's happening in Haiti is the same as what's happening in Afghanistan. Well, similar. Taliban took over Afghanistan. Well, it's like I said, it's just really sad, and hopefully the people in Haiti can get through it. You know what game I actually wanted to play? I actually wanted to play Burglar Simulator. I actually wanted to play that. I never got the chance to play that, but I did want to actually play that. That's an actual game, by the way, for people wondering. Would you say Manhunt 2 is the darkest game you've played above Kid Village 2? Yeah. Well, yeah, I would say.
Job well and truly done. They're going to face a judge. How them coins look for your efforts?
I could do a Red Dead Redemption 1 multiplayer stream one day, yeah. There's multiple endings in Manhunt 2? I'm gonna look into Sea of Thieves, yes. Political correctness never works. It needs to stop, yeah. Are you still here, by the way, Bunny? I'm gonna do that bounty in a little bit. Are you still here, by the way? There's 2 endings in Manhunt 2? Do I get, like, a choice? I think you're giving a snake a bad rap. They only attack if threatened. Well, I've heard stories about snakes that just slither up to people and bite them. Like, even if they, even if people aren't even near them, aren't even doing anything. But yet, I've never heard a story about, like, a tarantula or a spider that just runs up to somebody and bites them for no reason. Of course, I can't forget their teacher, Miss Frizzle. She's great, too, as is the male students, Arnold, Carlos, Ralphie, and Tim. You're cool, too. You know, I never really watched that show, The Magic School Bus, but I tell you something. I did, one of my favorite shows when I was a kid, Mario. I don't know if you know this show. It's called Recess. Has anybody ever seen Recess before? I used to watch Recess when I was a kid. Like, Recess was actually a really good show. And it was like 10-minute episodes, but it was like, on the playground, it was just like some ridiculous things always happening in that school. It was like that school was just something crazy happening at recess in that show always. Miss Finster, Miss Finster. I'll never forget that in recess.
You going crazy or something?
Which gang would you say is the most monstrous in Manhunt 2? The Pervs, Preds, Watchdogs, Contractors of Bloodhound, Confederates, or Pickman's Bridge Mercenaries?
Did a good job.
Probably the Bloodhounds. Let's do boat.
Hell,
Are you still here, Bunny?
I do not have the time to go over this with you. I'm busy for once. There's work to do. But take this note, and it'll tell you what you got to do.
Okay, I'll see you, Tox.
So go on.
Tox, and see you, man.
Do it now. Go on then. Go ahead.
Bloodhounds do have a corrupt cops branch as well. Wait, the cops are working the Bloodhounds? Next part of Manhunt 2, maybe tonight or tomorrow, but it's either tonight or tomorrow. Thoughts on the State of the Union address? Well, to answer your question, Emily, I don't talk politics. I tend to stay away from that. As for the Oscars, I really don't care about it. Honestly speaking, the Oscars, the way that I see the Oscars is I see it's like a bunch of entitled celebrities that haven't really accomplished anything and, are just talking about their awards constantly. So I don't care about stuff like that. It's just, I'm not a fan of a lot of these celebrities. And honestly speaking, I've never really liked the celebrities, but ever since that college scam happened, I dislike these celebrities even more. For people that don't know what the college scam is, the college scam was basically a couple years ago where there was a bunch of celebrities that were basically paying people off to do SAT exams for their kids. The SAT exam, it's like a standardized test that's like across it's across America, and colleges apparently look at that based on your grade. And so if you get like a high grade in the SAT, there's a stronger chance you'll get to a good college. I guess it's kind of like an IQ test for students in high school. But about the SAT exam, these rich celebrities, what they were doing is they were basically paying people to pretend to be their kids. So they were these people that were being paid would go in, take the SAT exam, and basically pretend to be their kids. And what they would do is these people would then, when they would take these exams, they would get high scores, and these kids got into those colleges. And nobody checked that. Nobody verified exactly who was taking those exams for them. And what ends up happening is those kids end up going to college, and they end up finishing those colleges. And that wasn't fair to all the students who worked hard and did everything the right way. And those celebrities, they basically got slaps on the wrist. Most of them did not get arrested for that. They basically got a slap on the wrist for that, which is ridiculous. I guess, Emily, but it's like, I've just never been fans of these celebrities personally. My favorite character was the king of the playground in Recess. Oh, that's King Bob. What's your comment there, Phoenix? You want to ask me what? Randall from Recess, what about him? Can you make a poll on your channel deciding if more people like Cayo Perico or Casino Heist more? Sure, I'll do it right now. Give me a moment. Okay, hang on a second. I'm making the poll right now. Okay, 1 second here. I'm just trying to find a good picture for that casino heist too, because I like to do image polls. There, when you have images in your polls, people are actually much more likely to interact with them. Okay, here we go. Okay. I made the poll. Hope that helped. When is the in real life video coming out? Oh, it's coming out. The in real life video is coming out in like a week or two. It's coming out. It's gonna be coming out before the end of this month. You can hold me to it as well. I'm still waiting for Pro versus Gilly GTA Guesser. That'll probably be an interesting one to do. Yes, I will replay the Mafia games one day. I'll do that definitely. Yeah, because it filmed in November, I heard, but I know you're busy. Yeah. It was just a long project. It was like an hour-long project, and I have to edit the whole thing together. But it's Will I ever play Call of Duty World at War? I tried to play it once, but I got a strike. I got struck for it by YouTube. They said I violated community guidelines for a World at War video. It's ridiculous. The poll is almost tied right now. Let's take a look at the poll. It's kind of close. Cayo Perico's winning now, though. That's nice. Okay, Okay, Bunny, are you here, man? Bunny, he wanted me to do the Red Ben Clemson bounty. Are you here, Bunny? Have you heard that Dark Viper is struggling recently? Wait, what happened, Robbie? Is he okay? Do you know that the torture that Kane and Lynch went through is real and it's called 1,000 Cuts? Also, is Kane and Lynch and Hitman in the same universe? What do you mean that the torture is like a real form of torture? But it's a specific tactic. Kane and Lynch is in the same universe as Hitman. Yes, it is. It is in the same universe because Hitman Blood Money. There's specific thing in Hitman Blood Money. If you watch the news in Hitman Blood Money, it talks about the events in Kane and Lynch. The Watch Dogs movie? What Watch Dogs movie? Operation Mincemeat in World War II. That sounds very familiar. Let me look up what that one is. If I Google it, I might know, because let's see, what is Operation Mincemeat? Oh, is this the operation where they tricked Germany? They tricked Germany into because they made it seem like they were gonna invade Greece when they were really gonna invade Sicily. Is this thing? I think I know what you're talking about here. I just looked it up. He seems really down and keeps quitting streams due to stress. Okay. You know what I'll do, Robbie? I'll actually message Dark Viper AU later tonight, and I'll ask him if everything's okay. He's a friend of mine. I hope everything's okay with him. Is Bunny here? Is he here? How many people we got in the posse? Oh, we got 4 people. 6. Yeah, we're full right now. Guys, for me to do this Red Ben Clemson bounty, I need to have 4 people. So 2 people need to leave. I don't want to kick anybody out. Does anybody volunteer to leave? Because Bunny wanted us to do the Red Ben Clemson bounty on legendary difficulty. Or the hardest difficulty. Is anybody volunteers to leave for that? Because we need 4 people. If
I have my trader full.
you have your trader full?
Yeah.
Well, I can help you with your trader right now. But afterwards is I can only do the heist of 4 people. I mean, the heist of bounty of 4 people. Oh, Brandon left. It's a form of torture the Japanese mainly use, huh? I've been good, Zack Attack. How are you, man? Zach, you know, I have really good memory though. I remember is that you are one of my oldest viewers ever. You have been watching the channel since 2017. So like summer 2017. So you have been here for, you know, 7 years at this point now, or close to 7 years. They recently greenlit a Watch Dogs movie starring Aiden Pierce. Really? Who's playing Aiden Pierce? Who do they have cast for Aiden Pierce? I'm really curious on that. I'm trying to think of what actor do you guys think would do a good job playing Aiden Pierce? Because it would have to be an actor that's in his late 30s, so he can't be too old. What actor do you guys think could play Aiden Pierce in a movie? But I'm really curious. Who did they cast as Aiden Pierce? I commissioned a drawing of Randall being chased by star butterfly stars from Star TV, the forces of evil. Hey, Pro, I just wanted to tell you, I've been enjoying your Apologist playthrough. I've never played any of the Ace Attorney games, but it's been fun to connect the dots alongside you. Thank you, Eric. And I see you comment a lot of the Ace Attorney videos, and I see that you really do enjoy it. That makes me really happy, because I'll tell you guys, Ace Attorney is the game that I'm having the most fun with right now. It's the game that I'm enjoying the most right now. Don't get me wrong, I'm having a lot of fun with Manhunt 2, and I'm liking it, but Ace Attorney, the Apollo Ace Attorney trilogy is so far my favorite game this year. Like, it's my favorite game. Ben Affleck is Aiden Pierce? No. Well, it means a lot that you remember. Sorry I've made, Mia, I've been grinding content creation and streaming. I've missed a lot of these streams, though. Don't worry about it, man. You don't have to apologize for that. Okay, invite the posse, and I'll help sell. Bunny, are you here? You wanted to watch the bounty, right? My first video on your channel is gun running based in 2017. I was 11 then, huh? So that means you are, what, 18 about now? That's crazy. Ace Attorney is your favorite because of your voice acting skills, huh? No, that's not it. Ace Attorney is my favorite because of the investigation. I like trying to figure everything out. And, like, you know, the best part about Ace Attorney is, like, when you catch those witnesses in a lie, and you just call them out for it, and like you unravel the truth. That's like the best part about it. Like when you catch them in a lie and you just call them out on it, it makes you feel really satisfied. That Pascal guy is Aiden Pierce. No. Pedro Pascal. I can't imagine Pedro Pascal playing Aiden Pierce. Whoever. Here's the thing. If you get an actor to play as Aiden Pierce in a movie, right? There's this new Watch Dogs movie that's coming out. You have to get somebody that's in their late 30s, and it can't be somebody that's really big. Like it can't be somebody, because like Pedro Pascal is a pretty big guy. So, like, I can't imagine, like, him being, like, you know, Aiden Pierce. I mean, he plays as the Mandalorian. He plays as Joel. You know, they're Joel and the Mandalorian are both big guys. So, like, you know, Aiden Pierce is not a skinny guy, but he's not a big guy either. He's, like, more just an average build guy. So, like, you know, maybe a little bit under average. That's what I would say about Aiden Pierce. So, it would have to be somebody that's in their late 30s and somebody that's a little bit under average build, I would say. Okay, Zach. And Zach, I have you added on PlayStation still, right, man? You know, now that I think about it, you know who I think could play as Aiden Pierce? Tell me if you guys agree with me on this. Let me just look up how old the actor is, because I know he's getting a little older right now. But I think I know the perfect actor that would play as Aiden Pierce. Let me see, how old is he? Okay, he's right now he's getting to he's 55 right now, but he actually does not look that old from his picture. So maybe he could play as Aiden Pierce. What is it? Timothy Oliphant. If anybody knows that guy, that actor. The reason I think Timothy Oliphant could play Aiden Pierce is because I remember him when he played as Agent 47 in the Hitman movie, the original Hitman movie. And the thing about Aiden Pierce is a very serious kind of guy. Aiden Pierce does not have any sense of humor. He's a very serious, straightforward guy. And so I could picture Timothy would do a pretty good job as playing as that type of guy, because when he played Agent 47, I thought he played the most realistic depiction of Agent 47. Like, he did a way better job than the 2015 guy, because he was pretty serious in that movie, and so Agent 47 has a pretty serious attitude to him. Also, he has no sense of humor, and so I think that if he pulled off Agent 47, I think he could pull off Aiden Pierce. I think he could do that. Because Aiden Pierce is not a bad guy, he's a good guy, but he's just a very, I would say he's just, he is a very serious guy. That's what I'll say about it. Okay, okay, let me fast travel to your, place. Oh, Pearl, I felt really bad for Pearl in, like, some of the cases in Ace Attorney. Hayden. Pedro Pascal, I could see Pedro Pascal doing Max Payne. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he could do Max Payne. But I think he would do a terrible job of doing Aiden Pierce, though. Manhunt 2 Medicine Lab, where Danny sedated Pikmin. Leo took control of him to get demand Pikmin. Do you think he could have reasoned with Leo Casper and get out of that alive if he didn't say the failsafe, phrase? I don't think there was any way that he was going to get out of that situation alive, London. I think that, that Leo's going to kill him regardless. Wow, this is really close. Are you doing like a close sale? Well, if you ever decide to mentor me, just reach out. I have 8 a.m. college class and it's 1 a.m., so I gotta head to sleep. I'll try to stop in more. Okay, I'll see you, Zach. Take care, man. See ya, man. By the way, Pro, I passed all my exams and given all my submissions since last time. That's good, Ipotech. You know, speaking of which, I'm gonna have, like, a video, talking about, it's gonna be talking about, like, group projects in college and, like, horror stories regarding, my experience with them personally. Pro, I actually respect you. You like my comment on your real-life video and your most recent one on retail. Thank you, Golden Stripes. How many times I played Clock and Bell Raid? 5 or 6 times, I think, at this point. I'm gonna be doing, Pro, there's people who think Genghis Khan never existed, opinion on that, and I think those people are stupid. It's like, the thing I'll say about, the Clock and Bell raid is I'm gonna attempt my own speedrun at it. And I'm gonna see if I can do it. I have, like, an idea, like a trick that I might use for the speedrun. And I'll see if my trick can save time. And, yeah, so I'm gonna, attempt it, see if I can get under the 45 minutes. If my trick works, I'll make a video on it. The real-life term of 1,000 cuts is Lingchi. If you look it up, that will give you a better description of what I'm talking about. I'll look into it. You have so much money into this game with nothing to spend it on. Yep. Yeah, but I didn't know that the torture method that the Triads used in Kane and Lynch 2, that was like a real torture method. I started watching the Phoenix Wright trilogy while I'm watching your Apollo Justice playthrough, and I'm really enjoying it. Also, I think Edgeworth is a scumbag. Well, you're gonna think a little bit differently about Edgeworth as you play through the game, Nick. You'll know that you'll feel a little bit bad for him later on. I imagine Angry Joe plays as Aiden Pierce in the film. No, I can't imagine Angry Joe doing that. Well, if that happened, General's alert, there'd be nuclear war. I have a bachelor's in law enforcement technology. Let's mix this up. Let's you know what, let's put in some slugs. Damn, they just keep coming. Ooh, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna be doing the I'm gonna be doing that mission now that Bunny wanted me to do, the Red Ben Clemson. I can only do it with 4 people though. Let me stock up on some ammo before I go into this mission.
Welcome back, sir. What were you looking for today? Let me know what you'd like.
Okay. What is my horse doing all the way over there? What the? Okay. Okay, is anyone joining my posse? I need 3 more people if anybody wants to join me. Do you think daylight savings time should just be permanent? Yeah. I honestly cannot stand this time change. It's like when it hits like winter time, people celebrating, oh, you know, we get an extra hour of sleep. But here's the thing about this is you don't really get an extra hour because you lost an extra hour earlier in the year too. You know the really funny thing I'll tell you about daylight savings time? My supervisor called me once on daylight savings time because the store was supposed to open at 7 a.m. and she called me. She called me at 6 o'clock in the morning and she woke me up because I literally lived like 5 minutes away from the store, so I would always wake up an hour beforehand. And she woke me up even before my alarm, and she told me that I'm that to come into work right now. Where am I? And I'm like, it's daylight savings time. It's like time got pushed back an hour, and she's like, oh. Yesterday, the time was changed. Do you think GTA 6 will have an alligator boss fight? Maybe. I wonder how the animals are going to work in that and hunting is going to work. Weird, but do you live with your parents? No, not anymore. I haven't lived with my parents for 4 years. What do you think is worse, McGilded or Unguard? I'd say Unguard. Unguard is even worse than McGilded, yeah. Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Antonio. Okay, Pro, you know Ramadan is starting. You said you have people who are Muslim in your family. Who are people who are Muslim in your family? My aunt, my great aunt. My great aunt is Muslim. My uncle used to be a Muslim, but he's an atheist now. What is it? I'm trying to remember what the thing is called. Is like it's a lot of my father's cousins are Muslim, but I don't know what that relation to me would be. Would that be like great cousin, or I don't know what the term would be if it's like my father's cousin, but it's still my family member. But but it's mostly my father's side. My mother's side is mostly Catholic. Thank you, Zombie, for the no, I'm not a Muslim. I'm an agnostic. I don't have any religious affiliation really. Oh, damn it! I didn't mean to start up that bounty. Leo definitely would have killed the kids, probably, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go back here, hang on. I prefer online classes on usually most of the time. But does anybody know if my father's cousins, what would my father's cousins be to me? Is that like a great cousin? Like what is the term for that? But that's sort of yeah, second cousin, that's the term? Second cousin? Is it? Okay. Yeah. Second cousin. Okay, because I always just get confused by that. But that's, yeah. But for people wondering how my father's family is Muslim, my father is a Polish Tatar, so they're my mother's Polish Slavic, but my father is a Polish Tatar, which the Tatars are they are basically people that came from Central Asia, like hundreds of years ago. They invaded Poland and they settled in Poland. They lived in Poland. Where is your great grandmother from? My grandmother was from Belarus. My great grandmother, I'm not sure where she was from. Oh, I'll get right back in there, Brandon. Okay. Are Tatars Huns? No. The Huns are people that they invaded like in ancient times. They attacked the Roman Empire. The Tatars invaded Poland like hundreds of years after the Romans did. They invaded Poland like 700 years after the Huns had invaded Europe. So they were like 700 years later were the Tatars. The Tatars were actually originally part of the Mongolian army. They were, and what happened was when the Mongolian Empire collapsed, they had basically nowhere to go back to, and so a lot of them stayed in the places that they were in.
I can't hardly walk. I need some help to town, please. You're gonna help me, right? Oh, thank you. Whew. Oh, this is a little great. Doctor in Strawberry, know him? Hopefully, he'll take care of me.
Is Mongolia the worst empire ever? No, I would say Nazi Germany was probably the worst empire ever. So are these people belonging to the Caucasian people or Asian people? Kind of both. I don't think the Tatars are from the Huns. I don't think so, but the
I just slipped on a root. Can't believe it.
the Tatars are a nomadic people for most of their history. They haven't really had a home. The closest thing they've had to an actual country was the Crimean Khanate, but then the Russian Empire took it over. So that was the closest they've had to their own country. Of course, I would say what? What's wrong, Mr. Waifu? I was banned on stream because I'm half Russian. I wasn't defending Putin. Well, I don't ban people for freedom of speech. I don't do stuff like that. But I didn't ban you. So I don't know what's going on, but it's like, maybe it was one of my moderators, but did you have something offensive in your profile picture? Because if my moderators see something offensive in a profile picture, they kick people out of the chat. Aren't Tatars like Turks? Tatars are more descended from Turks than they are from Mongolians. But yeah, for people wondering what I meant when I said the Tatars are both Caucasians and Asians, it's because the Tatars are a Central Asian people, but they have they're nomadic. They're constantly on the move. They're not really in one country. They haven't really been in one country until modern times, until like the last 200, 300, 400 years even. That's when they, mostly settled. But for most of their history, they've been on the move, and so they've just they've been all over the place. They've had kids with just so many different cultures, and so they're just they just have a lot of different ancestries just going back. Nothing offensive, what? I meant a different streamer. Oh, oh, you were banned on a stream. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. It was, okay, let me start up the, I need 3 people to join the posse if they want to do this heist with me. This guy banned me for my mixed nationalities being Russian and called me a terrorist? What? That's... Okay, that's... Wow, what the hell? Don't blame the citizens of a country, blame the government. Yeah, I agree with you. Where you get this jacket? Oh, this one. This I actually did not buy online. This I actually found in a I found this in a clothing store. So this is like a local clothing store that was in my town, and they were selling these shirts. They were selling a bunch of other, like, you know, kind of Western stuff, and I found this shirt. No, he got banned by some other streamer, Chasaruni. Brandon or General or Burb, is anybody else going to join the posse on this? Hey, Pro, if I stream, would you watch my stream? Yeah, you would just have to tell me when it's going to be. But I would say the really interesting thing about the Tatar people is that they are very similar to, you know what culture they're very similar to? They're very similar to the Vikings back in the day. Even though they lived such distances from each other. The reason they're kind of similar to the Vikings is because their history is very similar, because the Vikings and the Tatars were both kind of a nomadic people. The Vikings were more likely to settle, but the similarities between the two peoples is that both of them basically they liked combat, they liked fighting in general. It was like a huge part of their culture, you know, back then, hundreds of years ago. The difference is that the Vikings would use ships. The Tatars would actually use horses. And where the Vikings would typically use axes and swords, the Tatars actually used bows. That was actually their favorite weapon, was bows. They were extremely elite horse archers. Like, the Tatars were really good archers, that they could shoot something perfectly accurate from a horse moving. That takes a lot of skill, being able to do something like that. But that's what they were really good at. They were really good horse archers. And both of them did their bad things also. Both of them did their raids. Where the Tatars would basically go into, like, villages, and they would, extort them, and they would tell them, like, give us all of your stuff and we'll leave. And the Vikings did the same thing. They would basically go into a village, they would tell them, give us all your stuff and leave. And they did the same thing. They would just leave and come back, and that was some of them. So some of them did some bad things too, but that was that's what I say, is that they were kind of similar to the Vikings, even though they're so far apart. I hate to get political, but what do you think about the Russian national soccer team getting banned from tournaments? I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb. I think, here's the thing about that, is imagine if you spend your entire life, like, training in sports, and your government does something stupid, and now you can't play in an international match because of your government. That's dumb. So sports players should never be penalized for something that their government is doing. They're not responsible for their government, and it's not fair to the players. It's like they spent their entire lives training for something like that. That's not fair to them. It's not. Brandon, General, or Burb, are you guys joining? Let me see. I'll just re-invite everybody to the posse here. They were mercenaries, the Tatars. Yes, they were. A lot of times they were. That is true. You are completely right on that. Like I said, a huge part of the Tatar culture is they just generally enjoyed fighting. They just generally enjoyed, you know, that. It was like the Vikings, like I said. They liked it. They liked fighting. Here's the thing is, the Tatars are only in one game that I can think of where they're enemies. And that is, if anybody has ever played the game Kingdom Come Deliverance, do you know those like humans? You know those guys with, like, the pointy, like, metal masks and, like, the pointy hats that the Hungarian king is using as mercenaries. Those guys, I'm descended from those guys. Why did you never finish Payday 3? Oh, the reason for that, Rose, was because I just got really bored of Payday 3. I felt like the developer wasn't supporting it, but I will come back to it, and I'll finish the other heists. I promise. I will come back to that. I just don't know when, but I give you my word, I will finish the Payday heists. I'm gonna need one person to leave. I accidentally invited too many people, so I'm sorry about that. But I need one person to leave, because we cannot do the heist. Oh, Brandon left. Okay. Red Ben Clemson. Here we go. No, I didn't ever finish the 45-minute raid. But yeah, it's crazy how many religions are in my family. My family is just so religiously diverse. It's crazy. Most of my mom's family is Catholic. My father's family was mostly Muslim, but then like half of his family is like atheists now. My uncle, who is Muslim, he married my aunt, who my aunt was Jewish. But but both of them are atheists now, so both my uncle and my aunt.
He's a hero to some folks, a villain to others, and most likely somewhere in between. Hey, this might interest you. A fella he used to run with lost his leg, became real bitter with it. He's got himself a vested interest in Ben's demise. Meet him over at Mercer Station. He might tell you where to go.
Okay.
Hey, you looking for Red Ben?
Yes, the bounty I tried last time.
But you better hurry.
I remember that, Lucio. I made guides in all these bounties.
Up near Armadillo. By now they'll be going at quite a clip. So you have to find them near Tumbleweed and get on board somehow.
What do you think about the divisions between Muslims and Christian and Islamic countries? You have to give me an example. What country are you talking about specifically, Zombie Fanatic? Because different countries... Is atheist a religion? Not really. It's more of a religious view.
All right, then. Let me see.
But I'll tell you, though, my,
You'll find
I'll tell you something, though. My aunt, what is it, is... There are some people in my mom's family that can be, like, really toxic with their religion. Like, I wouldn't say to the point where it's, like... I wouldn't say to the point where it's, like, racism, but it's more like... It's more like they generally believe that if you're not a Catholic, you're like a communist. That's generally, like, you know, what they think. Some people in my mom's distant family. my father's family, for the most part, are very tolerant of, you know, all religions. But, however, though, my uncle, he's my father's brother, he married my aunt, who is, you know, an atheist, and, you know, my uncle's an atheist too. But my uncle and my aunt, they see things very differently. Like, my uncle doesn't care. You know, he doesn't care. He doesn't talk religion. He's not like that at all. My aunt, on the other hand, I love her, but she can get really toxic with religion sometimes, because she'll get into random religious debates, and she'll basically start talking about how religion is evil and all this other stuff, and religion caused all these wars. And I'm like, I don't really want to hear this. Like, it's not for me. Like, I don't really have a religious affiliation. I'm more of an agnostic. But it's like, you know, she gets a bit toxic with stuff like that too. So that's I just don't want to hear stuff like that personally. Like let me see here. Wait, what are you talking about, Mordecai? Thank you for the super chat, but, oh, what just happened? Oh, so if one person dies, it fails? I've seen the original Twister movie. Yes, I've seen that one. The tornadoes, I remember that one. I watched that when I was a kid. I don't think it's GTA 6 is really going to be like either, honestly. Okay, guys, when we get on the train, literally, get in the cabins, the ones with the walls around, as quickly as possible. It's okay, Tar, don't worry about it. How did that not kill him? Okay. Jump on the train from the start here. Because there's going to be, like, horses that are going to chase us. Watch out for the horses that chase us, because they get really annoying. Okay. We gotta everyone has to get on the train as quickly as possible. You guys cannot stay at the back of the train, because the horses that chase you, they're gonna catch up to you and kill you. That's what makes this mission very difficult. One is Dead Rising. Well, I'm seeing Dead Rising as a very requested game, so Dead Rising will be doing some later in March. What the? Is that a guy in the... Okay. Whoa, whoa. Make sure you guys get inside, because you'll get shot in the back. Damn. Trying to get a shot, but it's becoming difficult. Move up to the next oh crap. Move up to the next carriage as quickly as you can. Get some cover. Headshots, go for headshots. Hang on a second. Actually. No, no. No, let me... Why can I not take cover? It's not letting me take cover. Can't take cover behind all this junk. Is that Clemson? Oh, crap. Crap. Oh, damn. Okay. Where is Clemson? Is Clemson alive? Or did we kill Clemson? Let me see. Oh, this is Red Ben Clemson. Okay, Clemson is alive. Okay, we have to stop this train. It's too risky. It's too risky, just throwing them off, because it'll kill them. Watch out, there's more coming from the back. Who's worse, Damon Gant or Manfred? Maybe even Gant is worse. Okay, I'll take Clemson here. I'm gonna show you guys, there's actually a secret in this mission. This bounty actually is a secret. A lot of people don't know about it. My horse cannot find me? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Take them to the nearest jail. Just watch out getting chased along the way. Okay. I want to show you guys a secret. There's a secret that a lot of people don't know about.
Too fast for you? I'll try and make it quick.
I just like that name, Samson, so I just went for it. Okay, let me show you guys this. I bet a lot of you guys don't know about this. It's a secret that's in this mission. Just have to ride a tiny bit more. Thank you, Shanlock, for subscribing to the channel. Thank you, man. And thank you, Click a Game. Thank you for subscribing also. Okay, look at this now. I wonder if this is still gonna work. Look.
Shit, I knew it was you. I knew it was you, you little yellow bastard.
What the hell you bring him here for? Get him out of here.
I knew it.
I didn't, Mr. Ben, I swear. They came and found me on account of this leg. I couldn't run nowhere. They came and put it to me. But I didn't say nothing. I swear, all that's holy.
You're gonna pay for this. With that good leg of yours.
Get him out of here. What you waiting for? Get him out.
Let's go. I'm taking that leg.
So a lot of people don't know about that dialogue. If you actually bring Clemson to the informant, that's they have that unique dialogue. Okay. Okay, I'm taking him to the nearest jail now. Ever been on a real horse? No. Oh no. Let's see where we start. How do I have over 800 gold playing a lot? Oh, we gotta get him again. Oh. Okay. Oh, great. What do I think of the religious division in Iran between Muslims and Christians? Well, Iran is a theocracy. That's basically what it is. It's a it's a it's a religious extremist government that controls it. They treat religious minorities like crap in Iran. Yes, women's rights are terrible in a... Oh. Okay, didn't even know about that animation. Women's rights are terrible in Iran as well. And gay people are actually murdered in Iran. Okay. This is Red Ben Clemson. Okay, we don't need this guy then. Okay. Okay, let's take them all and deliver them. Yes, there was a woman. She got taken into police custody and she died. It's what triggered all the protests in Iran.
Put him in an open cell and we'll get him paid up.
Wait, that happens to you in Indonesia, Drifter Kids? Hi, Tyler. Boy, thank you for sponsoring my channel for half a year. I appreciate it, man. I will still do it. I'll still go back to it, Phoenix.
That's our bounty, and all is right in the world. Put them in a cell for me. You can count it, or you can trust me. It's all there.
Young Defiant. I haven't heard of that channel before. Well, women have, barely any rights in Iran. You know, I think women do have to cover their faces. I think that's what that girl was actually arrested for in Iran, and she ended up dying in police custody. I haven't played GTA 4 or the 2 DLCs, but is Billy Gray a small fry when comparing him to Dimitri and Bulgarin? Yes, Dimitri is like the most evil, you know, GTA character of all time. How much longer are you going to be on? I'm going to wrap up the stream here in a moment. If you guys have any questions for me before I go, you know, please, you know, feel free to answer them, and I'll, Oh, we got a player bounty. Let's see if we can get this. This will be interesting. Let's see who. The government really has no power, though, Zombie Fanatic. Damn, trying to get down from here. This is the one thing I hate about the Tumbleweed area. It's trying to get down. Okay, here we go. Don't know if I'll be able to even catch up to him because he got a good distance already on me. Oh, crap. I didn't even mean to do that. I meant to, I didn't mean to do that. I was gonna shoot the horse. I was trying to shoot the horse, not him, but... Okay, oh well. I wasn't trying to kill him. I wanted to take him alive. I was gonna shoot at his horse so he falls. I know, the guy who plays Bulgarin plays that Russian guy in The Sopranos, I know.
What's left of that one in the wagon and let's get on with this. There you go. And this is yours. Here's your reward. Good money.
Okay, well, I'll still answer any questions people have for me. I'm gonna be going here in 1 or 2 minutes. Has Been Hotel? I've never seen that. What is that? No, I've never played Dead Space. Thank you, Lucio. You too. What do I think about GTA 6's map? I think it's gonna be a great map. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, he was, but he didn't seem to make an attempt to try to kill CJ. No, I haven't seen Dark Viper's playthrough. Saints Row 2 is still my favorite game of all time. Yes, I did see the new Fallout TV show trailer. Maybe the show I'm getting more hopes for it. Fought in the infantry of the Polish army during the Battle of Warsaw, August 1920. Well, they destroyed the Soviet army that was, trying to take. That was in the War of 1920, the Polish-Soviet War. The Soviets tried to take Warsaw. They were basically driven off, and their army was just destroyed. Okay, so I guess we'll be going here, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on the stream. If you guys liked the stream, do drop a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.